Joining me to discuss BTC and Bitcoin news is our Week in Review panel. CoinDesk Managing Editor of Technology, Christie Harkin in Toronto. Hello there, Christie. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm the panel.
You're the panel. It's the girls' club right now. Yes, we're hoping to get Dominic Dantes on with us. He may or may not be able to join us later on in the show. He's having a few Wi-Fi difficulties. But Christie, you're my tech expert, and we've got a lot of tech questions for you. So let's start off with, China. We've had continuing fallout from China throughout this week. Taking a review of what's happened over the past several days, the authorities in China's Inner Mongolia province seized about over 10,000 crypto mining rigs from a government-operated tech park, and that's according to global media, who will be global, will stop serving existing users in China by the end of the year. And we had Bobby Leon, who's the co-founder of the first Bitcoin exchange in China, BTCC was formerly called. He was telling us that over-the-counter trading desks will likely be the next loophole to close in China. And on top of that, Alibaba, they'll stop selling specialized mining equipment on October 8th, they've announced, and at least 18 more crypto platforms and companies are exiting China following a nationwide crypto ban. And just since we're listing them off, Bitmain, they're a leading mining manufacturer, of course, and they're going to halt sales in China and move most of their production out of southern China and into other countries. So, I mean, what do you see as the fallout? Are we just going to have no Bitcoin market in China anymore?
That's hard to say if we're going to have no Bitcoin market in China. Bitcoin does manage to flourish in adverse situations. What we can see right now, though, the hash rate, of course, has moved out of China with all of the mining crackdowns. Even the miners now who were sort of surreptitiously turning their machines back on are finding that they're going to get their rigs confiscated. People are looking a little more closely at what's going on in those situations. But it is a situation that has been growing for the last, 6 months. And this is not entirely a surprise to everybody. The miners and other businesses in China, Bitcoin-related businesses in China, have been exiting the country and relocating their hash power. We've talked in recent weeks also about how the North American mining industry is growing. They're benefiting from having seen some of the writing on the wall, but also just recognizing the economic value of setting up the mining industry in North America and elsewhere. So those orders are starting to come online. They've been delivered. People are firing up their rigs, and the hash power is staying steady on a global rate. And that's the important thing, because hash power is the computational power that secures the Bitcoin blockchain. And Bitcoin is still secure.
Well, that's what some experts were telling us earlier on the week, that even without China, there still might be some Chinese citizens who might have a way to operate in China with severe limitations and restrictions. But even without the mass market that China has provided to Bitcoin, it's still in emerging markets, in other countries around the world, there's still more mass adoption throughout the globe. And so much like
it could have been
the world has an internet.
Years ago.
Yeah. I mean, China has an intranet, and they may have a private blockchain, their digital yuan. And much like Apple and Microsoft and tech companies have tried to operate in China with limitations, that might happen in the case of blockchain companies trying to work in China. We did have Dominic Dantes just for the slightest moment there. We hope to get back with him to talk about price if he's able to log on back with us. But another topic, of course, is El Salvador. And this has been truly fascinating to watch. Nayib Bukele tweeting today that 2.73 million people already using the Chivo wallet, the government-run wallet there. 180 new users every minute, users, not downloads, and $1 million in remittances being received every day. Hashtag Bitcoin, of course. Now, the population of El Salvador is about 6.5 million. So, earlier we reported about 1/3 of the country is using this Chivo wallet. Now it's approaching half a million. Rather half of the population of the country. So, tell me a bit about what you know about the Chivo wallet, Christie, because I've also heard that there are some glitches with it. It's not a very straightforward process for everyone.
I think that there are a lot of Bitcoiners who would say that the Chivo wallet is sort of what you get when you have a government stepping in and trying to do the things that private companies can probably do better. I don't know, but there have been glitches, and there are always glitches when you're going to try something new. I think that one of the best takes that I've seen on the situation in El Salvador came from from Michael Casey at CoinDesk. He wrote a really fantastic op-ed about how El Salvador is getting things wrong in its approach. And I think that there is hope that perhaps things could be on the upswing. Like we said, there's over a third, approaching a half of the population has an active wallet, not just downloads. That, I think, also has to be taken with a grain of salt, because is it just that these people are using their wallets in order to access the airdropped Bitcoin, $30 worth of Bitcoin that was airdropped into those wallets? Are they actively using the wallet just to get the Bitcoin out, cash it in for US dollars? There have been long lineups at Bitcoin ATMs, and I don't think it's because people are trying to buy more Bitcoin. They're probably trying to cash it out, as opposed to using it in the circular economy fashion of using their Bitcoin that got airdropped in order to exchange it for goods and services, and those people then exchange it for goods and services, and so on, and creating that sort of internal Bitcoin economy. On the other hand, the notion that there are all these remittances being done with Bitcoin, that is a positive sign, because that is kind of what we were hoping Bitcoin could be used for in a lot of these developing countries. But I think one of the cooler stories actually coming out of El Salvador is more the volcano.
Volcanoed.
Yeah, yes. Come on, volcano Bitcoin, right? But hear me out.
Let's play that.
This is not weird. Honestly, this is not the weirdest thing to actually happen. If you think about it, okay, so geothermal power plants use steam. They use steam to produce electricity. We need electricity to run the mining rigs. And where are you going to get some really great geothermal power? A volcano, for crying out loud. And you don't have people setting up, say, villages necessarily, or big cities on the sides of volcanoes. So, as I mentioned before, Bitcoin miners can situate their rigs anywhere in the world, no matter how remote, anywhere that there's an energy source. And there's a whole lot of renewable energy out there: electric power, hydroelectric power, solar, wind, and in this case, volcanoes. And that's what El Salvador has begun to do. What's important to note about these remote locations is that the energy being tapped is being tapped specifically to mine Bitcoin. It can't be used for, say, powering a city, because cities right now are too far away from that source. And remember that energy dissipates as it travels. So setting up a Bitcoin mining center beside a volcano far away from civilian populations is a great way to source not just energy, but Bitcoin revenue. So how does this even work? So by creating geothermal power plants drill down a few miles below the Earth's surface, and using enhanced geothermal systems, use steam to produce electricity. The steam rotates a turbine that activates a generator, and that produces the electricity. So it's not like, lava somehow is magically turned into energy. There's a generator involved. So, and as Michael Casey points out in his op-ed, mining Bitcoin could be a really good way for countries like El Salvador with plentiful stranded volcano energy to generate revenue from renewable energy sources and then use that money to fund more Bitcoin-focused projects, which would help not just the Bitcoin economy grow, but the entire country's economy grow. And what we're seeing so
Christie,
far,
what happens if the volcano erupts, though?
If the volcano erupts, you'll lose a few rigs, but you're not going to have like a whole population. You're not going to have a whole city getting leveled. You're going to get a few mining farms getting leveled, maybe. And with the, who knows, with enough geological prediction systems, perhaps they'll know that there's something happening and they can load up some rigs on a truck. I don't know, but I mean, it's a chance you take, right? But it's not like it's a whole city.
Or mining a bit Bitcoin, why not?
Yeah, why not? Take a few risks.